The Kids in the Hall is a Canadian sketch comedy group formed in 1984, consisting of comedians Dave Foley, Kevin MacDonald, Bruce McCulloch, Mark McKinney, and Scott Thompson. Their eponymous television show ran from 1989 to 1995 on CBC in Canada, and CBS and HBO in the United States. The theme song for the show was the instrumental, "Having an Average Weekend," by the Canadian band Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet. The troupe made one film, Brain Candy, which was released in 1996. The troupe performed for various tours and comedy festivals in 2000. They later reunited for an 8-part miniseries, Death Comes to Town, in January 2010. The name of the group came from Sid Caesar, who, if a joke didn't go over, or played worse than expected, would attribute it to the Kids in the Hall, referring to a group of young writers hanging around the studio. History. Before the troupe formed, Bruce McCulloch and Mark McKinney were working together to doing theatre sports in Calgary, performing in a group named The Audience. Norm Hiscock, Gary Campbell, and Frank Van Keeken were co-members and later became writers on the show. At the same time, Dave Foley and Kevin MacDonald were performing around Toronto as the Kids in the Hall. In 1984, the two pairs met in Toronto, and began performing regularly as Kith, with a rotating band of members, including Paul Bellini for a short time. When Scott Thompson was invited to join in January 1985, the group had its final form. The same year, McCulloch and Foley appeared in the Anne of Green Gables series, as Diana Barry's husband and a former classmate of Van's from the fictional Queen's College, respectively. Not long afterwards, the Kids broke up for a short time when scouts for Saturday Night Live invited McKinney and McCulloch to New York to become writers for that show. Foley made a poorly received movie debut with High Stakes, and Thompson and MacDonald worked with the Second City touring group. They were reunited in 1986. After SNL's Lorne Michaels saw them perform as a troupe, plans began for a TV show. In 1987, Michaels sent him to New York to what was essentially a comedy boot camp, and in 1988, their pilot special aired on CBC television and in the United States on HBO before debuting as a series in 1989.